beginning of Coherence, we see a group of friends preparing a get-together for a dinner party that will be hosted by Mike and his wife Lee. As the film opens, M is followed as she walks to the party in the first scene of the movie. M is on the phone with Kevin, her lover. Emily's phone screen abruptly breaks in the middle of the chat. M finds their friend Beth already there when she arrives at Mike and Lee's home. M hypothesizes that Miller's comet's passage may have been the origin of the anomalous event that broke her phone. For several years, this comet travels close to Earth, changing the globe in strange ways. After they finish talking, Beth produces a tiny bottle of ketamine, a sedative for horses that is also known to cause hallucinations. She suggests the friends take it and have a joyful evening. Beth's offer is gently rejected by Mike, Lee, and M. A seemingly unimportant but crucial aspect in the story occurs when Beth notices a cute flower vase in Lee's kitchen and asks her where she got it. Lee responds that she bought it at the thrift store. All of the visitors show up at the house soon. Hugh, Beth's husband, travels with Kevin. Another friend, Amir, shows up with Lori, who is also Kevin's ex-girlfriend. Kevin asks M whether she'd be willing to accompany him on a month-long business trip to Vietnam prior to the meal. M feels hesitant to make such a significant decision but wants to go with Kevin. The pals discover they have no network during dinner and blame Miller's comet for it. M discusses how the comet has already been connected to odd occurrences. She describes one such spooky experience that took place in Finland in 1923. After the comet had passed, a woman called the police and informed them that the man living in her home was not her husband. Since the man in the house resembled her husband identically, the authorities were perplexed by her accusations. At that point, the woman revealed a horrifying truth to the police, saying that the man couldn't have been her husband because she had already murdered him the day before. Despite her confession, the husband is right in front of the cops, preventing them from apprehending her. Amir challenges Kevin to share the first outrageous tale that comes to mind. In the end, Kevin describes a crazy incident that occurred when he was dating Lori, which seems to irritate M. These brief relationship-related episodes are quite pertinent, as we'll discover later. Hugh's phone also shatters out of nowhere. Hugh is concerned because he needs to talk to his science nerd brother Brian about this. The lights go out before the group had a chance to continue speaking. Mike retrieves 3 packages of glow sticks from the basement, one of each color, blue, red, and green, in an unopened box. The gang steps outdoors to watch the comet pass in the sky after opening the blue glow stick box. Additionally, they notice that all but one house in the neighborhood, apparently 2 blocks away, seems to have lost electricity. To try and use their phone to call Hugh's brother, Hugh and Amir decide to travel to the residence 2 blocks away. The party is startled by an abrupt bang on the door while they wait for Hugh and Amir to arrive. They look outside, but no one is there. Mike is able to start the generator and bring the power back to the house in the interim. Hugh and Amir eventually show up again, Hugh sporting a noticeable bruising on his head and Amir toting a box. Hugh implied that he saw them at the other house when he said that he went around the other house and observed a dinner table set up for 6 individuals. After Hugh's revelation, the group has become suspicious. A ping-pong paddle and an envelope holding the numerically tagged images of every individual in the room are both visible as Mike opens the box that Amir had brought. Hugh makes the decision to return home and starts writing a note on a piece of paper to the other house to let them know he doesn't mean any harm. Hugh begins to write this message, when Lori notices another man standing at the door. The man is nowhere to be found as Kevin opens the door, but he has written the identical message on the door that Hugh was, indicating that a different Hugh sent this message. Additionally, M notices that the numbers on the backs of the pictures are written in her handwriting. Hugh's battered forehead was covered by a cloth bandage by Lee and Beth in the kitchen. Kevin advises that the group go to the other house and look around since he is afraid of what is happening. Hugh, Amir, Beth, and Lee decide to stay while Mike, Kevin, and Lori bring their blue glow stick to the other house. Mike discovers that the house, which appeared to be 2 blocks away, is actually his house when the 4 of them get at the residence. Mike, Lori, Kevin, and Em are traveling back when they unexpectedly spot their doppelgangers crossing the street with red glow sticks in hand. Once they recognize one another, both parties flee in terror to the homes from whence they originally came. When Hugh, Amir, and Beth find out what their other friends just saw, they are shocked. No part of the proceedings makes sense to the group. Lee is currently dozing off in her bedroom after experiencing a bizarre day. Beth suddenly recalls that she had kept a book in Hugh's car that his science nerd brother had given them. When Hugh goes to get the book, he discovers his brother's notes, which refer to Coherence and Schrodinger's cat, an experiment that explains the strange events occurring around them. A cat named Schrodinger, Hugh clarifies that it is a thought experiment that centers on a cat housed in a box that contains poison. The poison will eventually kill the animal over time. The cat can either live or die, according to conventional physics, but quantum physics claims that it cannot be either. The cat may exist in both a life and a death reality at the same time. Both of these probability only combine into a single occurrence if the box is opened. The next concept Hugh discusses is quantum decoherence, which holds that 2 events continue to exist independently and branch out into distinct realities. These 2 events continue to exist independently and do not interact thanks to quantum decoherence. The team concludes that the comet is to blame for this quantum decoherence, which has resulted in the existence of 2 universes. These realities will continue to exist until the comet passes before collapsing. These worlds were not intended to mix, but when the group traveled 2 blocks away in search of the house, they did. After realizing this, the group seems terrified. Mike, who is overly paranoid, recommends that they go to the house and murder the other occupants in case they decide to hurt them first. The group decides to calm and appease Mike. Mike then recalls that although he was in the other house, he saw Hugh, Amir, and Lee but missed seeing Beth. This suggests that in the other house, instead of in this reality where Lee was sleeping, Beth was probably dozing off. The fact that Beth was the one who directed them to the book suggests that the other location does not have access to it, giving the house an advantage over the other. Others are dubious about Mike's suggestion that they grab the book from the other, Hugh's car. While the others are gone, Mike offers Kevin a strategy. Mike claims that in order to keep the second group from entering the group and learning about quantum decoherence, he intends to use blackmail on the other him. Hugh doesn't know that Mike had a relationship with Beth 12 years ago. In order to keep this a secret, Mike would go to considerable measures, and he would not want it to be known. Kevin, however, convinces him against taking this move. Now the question arises, how does Em realize that something is off? Beth asks Lee where she got the flower vase as Kevin, Beth, Lee, and Em are in the kitchen. Lee responds, I got it from the thrift store, as she had previously stated. Beth is asking the same question she did earlier in the evening, which surprises Em. Why would Beth ask again if she already knew where Lee got the flower vase? This makes Beth question whether she is indeed in the house where she originally started. The next revelation is equally shocking. Hugh and Amir enter a room secretly. It is later discovered that they have a red glow stick. This means that they come from a home that has unlocked the red glow stick box and have somehow managed to enter the home with a blue glow stick. This suggests that they aren't the Hugh and Amir at the opening of the movie, who had left the house, and that they are actually from another universe. Hugh and Amir cautiously leave the house before their cover is blown up, taking the box containing the photos with them. To give their reality the advantage in these processes, Hugh and Amir further plan to return the book to their original home. Mike, on the other hand, has already left to leave his note of blackmail at the other home. Now, the group eventually hears the sound of a car being broken into, and they go to look into it. Em travels by herself to see if her car has been damaged while others check on Hugh's vehicle. While there, she discovers an antique ring that Kevin had brought for her at a fair. Em shows Kevin the ring when he arrives, and Kevin is thrilled to see it. Em realizes that this Kevin is not from her reality as he appears to be unable to understand her questions about Hugh's car. She returns to the house, where she finds Kevin sitting, after being startled. When she shows this, Kevin, the ring, he shows little interest and simply responds carelessly. The original Hugh and Amir return with blue glow sticks, reassuring the group that they were the first ones to leave the house while they contemplate their next move. On top of that, Hugh is wearing a conventional bandage rather than a fabric one. At that point, everyone in the group realizes that there are actually a lot of these realities where the buddies selected a variety of choices, ranging from bandages to glow sticks. And each reality had a unique result. Lori advises them to identify their specific home so that anyone who ventures outside and gets disoriented can find their way back. The friends label their photos using a dice roll and Lee retrieves a box from her basement. They decide on a plate instead of the ping-pong paddle they had originally planned to keep in the box. Em checks the numbers from the earlier box she entered in a notebook after each friend has rolled a die. The numbers in the notepad and the ones that each participant remembers their number to be do not match at all, she realizes. She also notices that Hugh's phone screen is intact in this home, which is strange considering that it was broken in the first residence. Hugh's undamaged phone proves that, despite the fact that Amir and Hugh are carrying blue glow sticks, they are not from Em's original home. Em explains her theory to Mike covertly. According to her, there is a shadowy space outside the home that, when crossed, leads to an alternate dimension. Everyone who has been outside has returned to a unique reality. This implies that neither Em nor anyone else is in the same home where they started. That's how Em realizes that they are in the wrong house. To simplify this further, Lee and Beth are the only ones who have never left the house, so that is where everyone is right now. However, even these two aren't the original Lee and Beth because Em has gone to the black place and is now staying in another Lee's home. The only people who came from the ping-pong paddle home were Lori, Kevin, and Em. It was not the same Mike who had gone because he had strayed off at night to send a threatening letter. There is no indication of the original Hugh and Amir because they were the ones who had initially strayed off. Everyone has entered a separate reality as a result of going outside. Em believes they should leave the house to go back to their previous lives, but Mike argues it's too late. Another Mike leaves the threatening message outside the house before Em has a chance to tell everyone this. The memo offers details regarding Mike's affair with Beth. When Hugh confronts Mike after discovering the note, he learns that everyone knew about the relationship except for him. Hugh attacks Mike out of anger before the others stop him. After this encounter, Mike, who is now bruised, has a reflective moment and considers the idea that he is the darkest version of himself. A blood clot from Beth's nostril falls on Lori as she revives Mike. When Lori sees blood, she flips out and starts yelling uncontrollably. With Lori in his arms, Kevin begins to console her. Observing this, Em starts to question Kevin's feelings for Lori. Em feels disgusted and decides to leave the house in an effort to get back to her original reality. Em visits a number of homes in various realities throughout this period. M notices the issue has gotten worse in each of these alternate reality homes as she peers through the window. The group has tied up two mics in one home, while Kevin is in love with Lori in another. After some time, M finds a house that appears unaffected by any of the incidents that troubled other realities, indicating that this house is still well behind other houses in the timeline. All of the friends appear unaware of all that is happening. It is also revealed that M became a dancer in this world and appeared in the main production. Furthermore, things are going well in her relationship with Kevin. The original M decides to live in this world, which contains the ideal life she has always desired to lead, out of jealousy for her existence in this reality. Unlike the unsure previous life she led, M's life hasn't left her with any regrets in this particular reality. In the end, basically, the original M makes the decision to take over the perfect M's life. The same thing that happened at the previous house happens again when she smashes Hugh's car window, forcing everyone inside, including the perfect M, to exit. When the perfect M reaches inside her car to retrieve the ring Mike had given her, the original M subdues her with Beth's ketamine and hides her body in the trunk. The perfect M is later replaced by the original M, who enters the home. The original M again drags the perfect M into the bathroom and knocks her out. Suddenly, though, the perfect M succeeds in getting out of the trunk. She knocks her original ring to the ground during the altercation and picks it up off of perfect M's finger. The original M hides the perfect M's body in the shower with the intention of taking care of it later after the perfect M appears to be dead. The original M suddenly collapses and passes out as she meets the other perfect mates. The original M awakens the following morning fearful that the friends may have exposed her deception by finding the ideal M's body. But none of the friends act oddly and they all accept the original M. Original M steps outside into the sunlight. She notices she now has two rings as Kevin unexpectedly approaches her and hands her the ring she had fallen on the ground. To compound her concerns, Kevin gets a call from the perfect M, who appears to have escaped from the bathroom. The perfect M warns Kevin about the original M, however the details of the call are not heard. Before the screen goes black, an incensed Kevin stares at the original M, who appears disturbed yet guilty of what she has done. The conclusion suggests that there are now two M's living in this perfect reality, and the original M is unable to go back to her reality because the comet has already left. She will constantly be constrained by this situation. The movie comes to a grim end in this way.